This is some sacred yogic guidance. Please forgive me for being self-indulgent. I am talking about how I engage my own practice in a more personal way than normal. It's sacred to me, and I'm sharing it with you to invite you into a more personal and ridiculously awesome, empowered life on the edge. This is wildness. When you die, you will give this body back. A spiritual practice will help you to heal and make your best dreams into your reality. This talk is an invitation into a practice. The practice is based on the grounding flower. There's a playlist on the channel, Wild Chakra Yoga, that includes a growing number of practices, all based around the same pattern. The pattern's simple. There are 12 sections. Each section is associated with a chakra. You don't need to know that. By doing those exercises, you're putting yourself in a good position to work with that chakra and its themes. But you can set it aside and just work with the entire sequence as a good range of poses and exercises based around the same structure. So your limbs and part of your body are in the same general position. But then there are sequences of a basic grounded pose, a mid-level challenge that is, it's challenging, and it is perfectly reasonable if you can't do them right away. And then a more difficult pose, in most cases a very difficult pose, some of which I can't do yet. In between, there are multiple exercises. So some of those exercises are designed to work your left and right side. And they're yogic exercises that bring you into poses that are asymmetrical. They're emphasizing one side and not the other, bending the left or the right, stretching legs, limbs, multiple versions. There are also empowering exercises that move you from the grounded pose to the more difficult pose, and for the mid-level intermediate pose towards the most difficult pose. These exercises build the strength to get deeper. The goal of the entire practice is to become increasingly aware of your edge. Now let's talk about edge. For years, I remember being taught about light. They said light can be measured as a particle or a wave. If you look at light with instruments designed to find particles, you'll find them and be able to measure and count them. If you look at it designed to understand and receive waves, you'll see waves. I'd like you to apply this to your practice. Your practice can be understood as particles or waves. You can have a series of numerical sequences. You're going to do 10 of these, you're going to do 20 of these, you're going to measure how deep you get here, measurements, distance, specific pointed ways of thinking. Or you can view it as a series of waves. Waves of motion, waves of transition, waves of fluidity. You can emphasize that kind of awareness. How fluid are you? How integrated are you? Do you feel focus and fire, or are you in your head, measuring whether you're straight, measuring whether you're deep, measuring how far your leg bends, or how many of a repetition you achieve? My conviction is we need both, and we need to emphasize the waves. This is not an equal distribution, although I do invite you to use it equally until you get deep enough to really feel the fire. What that means is half the time count and half the time don't. When you think this way, what you get is an exposure to a different awareness about what's going on. And when you find your awareness to be aware enough, you're going to be able to notice your edge really honestly. Your edge is where you find your absolute best uniting with a feeling of being natural and even almost easy. Now, this is very different than the way many people think about achievement in terms of striving or pushing and a measurable, if I do this 100 times in the next 100 days, I'm going to get there. No, this is much more like a dance where you edge in towards your goals by remaining aware of them, but you don't cling to them. You don't grip them really tightly and focus all the time. You simply edge towards them. When you approach it this way, you're enjoying everything else. The goal is not the dominant feature. The goal is here to draw us, even simply to describe the direction we're moving in generally. And yet, then we bring our attention back into what we are actually doing. There's something that you can do in all of these sections. Simply stay focused on what you can do. And when you approach your practice this way, you get to enjoy all of it. You get to embrace it each day, feeling the gift that your body gives you, the thank you that you get for taking good care of yourself. And that is always available when you are not pushing yourself to the point where you are consistently straining. And then one day you find you can own the greater challenge. Let's be very clear on what yoga is. Yoga is a transcendent spiritual path that teaches you to align your mind, your body, and your spirit. This is a very present challenge. In terms of the actual physical practice, this is the art of uniting strength, flexibility, and endurance. By challenging ourselves in all these ways at once, we are unifying the different forces within ourselves in a way that never gives any one of them too much priority. As a result, we are integrating ourselves in a way that transforms our consciousness. Now, for this moment, just trust me. If you overemphasize any one of those themes, you ruin the balance. It doesn't work anymore. So following practices in this way allows you to both build all of those priorities and remain increasingly conscious of where you can go. And the gifts of this are not measured by how deep you get. The gifts are present and possible today. They are given to us when we keep these forces in balance. Balancing these forces is possible no matter what your limitations are currently. When you live in your edge, you are engaging the challenge that is present for you. You're doing it by also stretching in other ways. Stretching in a literal sense with your body, but stretching with your intention, stretching with your sense of possibility within yourself. And by unifying a practice that puts you in a position to keep reaching towards greater challenges and focuses you on the aspects of today that enable those challenges, you learn to value those aspects as their own gift. The gift of side stretch, the gift of low twists, even gentle, easy twists, is present immediately. It opens your spine, it opens your hips, it allows you to unify your lower body with your heart. It doesn't have to be absurdly difficult in order to be this kind of gift right now today. But you will lose it if you push yourself 2 inches too far and overemphasize any one muscle group just a little. The moment you lean too much on any one aspect of yourself, you'll feel a tightening. And that tightening will inhibit your ability to do everything else. It needs to stay natural. You need to feel the natural level of engagement that allows you to remain aware of your thigh, your abdomen, your hip, your shoulder, your bicep, and your wrists all at once. When you lose this integration, you end up focusing too much on exactly whatever you're pressing too much. And that focus can be a vortex. You could end up zeroing in your attention on whatever element of life or your body you're using too much. And they can become clear signs that you've pushed it too far. The more powerful you get, the more conscious you need to be of the potential of ruining things by going too far. So you have to be able to measure this in multiple ways. One, you could be literally stretching too far, and then the words do fit. But you could also go too long. You could also be overemphasizing force where subtlety is needed, overemphasizing focus when general and gentling your awareness to expand a more conscious and integrated motion is what's needed. The layers that must align end up giving you a gift, and to recognize when you lose alignment is crucial. Your edge is a function, a gift of alignment, of aligning your mind, your body, your spirit, strength, flexibility, and endurance. When these forces align, you could go deeper in an easy, natural way. Your easy, natural edge does not conform to your goals. You must be the one who recognizes the signs your system gives you. Your system, your mind, your body, your spirit, all will communicate to you. And if you ignore any one of these, your system may be broken. Your system is a function of aligning these forces and allowing them each to gain respect within your awareness, which means by respect, you will look twice. You will look twice at what your mind is saying. And if your mind is too addicted to a particular goal, you are not respecting your spirit and your body. To push through what your body tells you is too far is not admirable. And it is a very intense and subtle line to identify where too far is in this regard. You have to be able to be present in an extreme, present in such a way that you are witnessing the signals of your mind and your body and your spirit. And they all have to at least be able to get through. Remaining conscious of the guidance from your mind, your body, and your spirit allows you to open to a broader and more multidimensional perspective on life itself, making your yoga your practice for your life. I know I can move my hands from behind my head to straight in front of me, to reaching out and even going down on my fingertips for support in the headstand. This is a dialogue between what you desire and the response of spirit. When spirit responds, you need ability to register spiritual awareness of possibility that's more real than your physical senses. You're seeing a vision that's so powerful that it brings you out of your body in many ways. And you're in it in a way that is sustaining. It fuels the possibility in a way that can make it real. This is the guidance that draws you in to your edge. You embody your edge before you do it physically. When I learned to move my hands from behind my head to straighten them. I was asking to learn how to balance just on my head with my hands open, and I was not succeeding. I got the idea of that movement as a response from spirit. What is the response from spirit to you? If you want to fly, you must learn to recognize the currents in the air. The challenges of flying in the air involve being present with forces that you don't know how to feel yet until you are there. So the recognition that spirit gives you is the presence to feel what it feels like before your body does it. That is what you can trust. This is the kind of guidance that comes from the dance between your desire and your willingness to accept the changes to your desire. And it'll teach you how to fly.